On a quiet night while babysitting, Sarah was enjoying a peaceful evening when she suddenly heard a faint thumping sound coming from the back of the house. At first, she tried to ignore it, telling herself it was probably nothing. Maybe just the wind or the house settling. But as the minutes ticked by, the sound grew louder and more persistent, echoing through the otherwise silent home. Feeling a sense of unease, Sarah decided to investigate. She walked slowly down the hallway, her footsteps muffled by the carpet, and peered into the kitchen. To her horror, she saw a man standing outside the back door, his face partially illuminated by the porch light. He was aggressively yanking on the door handle, his eyes locking with hers in a chilling moment of direct eye contact. Panic surged through Sarah as she realized the danger she was in. She quickly turned and ran upstairs, her mind racing with fear, and scooped up the child she was babysitting, trying to keep her voice steady as she whispered that they needed to hide. Downstairs, the sounds of forced entry intensified. The man was now slamming his shoulder against the door, the wood creaking and splintering under the pressure. Within moments, the door gave way with a loud crash, and Sarah could hear the heavy footsteps of the intruder entering the house. She clutched the child tightly, her heart pounding as she listened to the man's movements below. Glancing around desperately, she spotted a window and, with trembling hands, managed to open it. She helped the child out first, then climbed out herself, both of them landing in the bushes below. Without looking back, Sarah ran to the neighbor's house, adrenaline fueling her every step. She banged on the door, pleading for help, and the neighbor quickly let them in as Sarah called the police, her hands shaking. Even after the authorities arrived and the immediate danger had passed, Sarah could not shake the terror she had felt in those 5 minutes. The image of the intruder's face at the door and the sound of the breaking wood haunted her long after, leaving her forever changed by the ordeal of being home alone when a stranger broke in. But if you thought that was terrifying, wait till you hear what happened next. A person was showering late at night, the warm water washing away the day's fatigue, when suddenly they heard a loud thud echo through the house. Startled, they quickly turned off the water and stood still listening. The usual comforting sounds of the night, the hum of the heater, the faint rustle of leaves outside, were replaced by an eerie, unsettling silence. Heart pounding, they wrapped themselves in a towel and cautiously stepped out of the bathroom. As they moved toward the back of the house, their eyes caught sight of the back door. It was nearly ripped off its hinges, hanging crookedly, with wood splinters scattered across the floor like shattered glass. The sight sent a wave of panic crashing over them. Without thinking twice, they bolted back into the bathroom and locked the door behind them. Hands trembling, they grabbed their phone and dialed 911, whispering their address and the situation as quietly as possible. Minutes felt like hours as they waited, every creak and shadow making their skin crawl. When the police finally arrived, they carefully examined the damaged door. To everyone's surprise, it was clear the door had been forced open from the inside, not the outside. The chilling implication was that someone had been inside the house all night, hiding, watching. The person recalled the shadowy figures they had glimpsed earlier that evening, figures they had dismissed as tricks of the light or passing strangers. Now the terrifying truth was undeniable. The intruder had been there, lurking within the walls, observing them for hours without their knowledge. The realization was far more terrifying than any confrontation could have been. And just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, this final story will haunt your mind forever. It was a quiet night just like any other. The world outside was still, and the only sounds inside the house were the gentle ticks of the wall clock and the soft hum of the refrigerator. The homeowner, tired after a long day, had finally drifted off to sleep, wrapped in the comfort of their bed. Suddenly, a loud, harsh knocking shattered the silence. The sound was so unexpected and forceful that it jolted the person awake in an instant. For a moment, they lay frozen, heart pounding, trying to convince themselves it was just a dream. But the knocking came again, even louder this time, echoing through the empty halls and making the windows rattle. With their heart thumping in their chest, the homeowner slowly got out of bed. Every step towards the front door felt heavy, weighed down by a growing sense of dread. Who could possibly be knocking at this hour? They tiptoed through the hallway, careful not to make a sound, and peeked through the peephole. Outside, under the dim porch light, stood a man. His face was shadowed, making it impossible to see his features clearly. But it was his stillness that was most unsettling. He didn't move, didn't call out, just stood there, waiting. As the homeowner's eyes adjusted to the darkness, they noticed something else. Another figure lurking just beyond the porch, hidden in the shadows. The realization sent a chill down their spine. Before they could react, something even more terrifying happened. From the back of the house, a face suddenly appeared at the window. It was another stranger, staring silently into the room. The homeowner's blood ran cold. Panic surged through their body, and without thinking twice, they dashed back to their bedroom, hands shaking as they grabbed their phone and dialed the police. The call felt like it took forever. The operator's calm voice was a lifeline, but the homeowner could barely get the words out. "There are people outside my house. They're trying to get in," they whispered, voice trembling. The operator assured them that help was on the way and told them to stay quiet and stay hidden. As the minutes ticked by, the sounds outside grew more intense. Footsteps crunched on the gravel, moving quickly around the house. It wasn't just one or two people. It sounded like a whole group, at least a dozen men, circling the house, testing every door and window. The homeowner could hear the desperate attempts to break in, the rattling of doorknobs, the banging on windows, the scraping of metal against glass. Each noise made their heart race faster. Trapped inside, the person stayed as quiet as possible, barely daring to breathe. Every creak of the floor, every gust of wind outside made them jump. Their mind raced with horrible thoughts. What if the intruders got inside? What would they do? The homeowner thought about their family photos on the walls, the memories made in this house, and the sense of safety they had always taken for granted. Now, all of that felt so fragile. The fear was overwhelming, but the homeowner clung to hope. They listened intently for any sign that the police were coming. Minutes felt like hours. The group outside seemed determined, trying every possible way to get in. The homeowner wondered if the locks would hold, if the windows would stay shut. Finally, just when it felt like they couldn't take it anymore, a distant sound broke through the chaos, the wail of sirens. Relief washed over the homeowner, but the fear didn't disappear. The intruders heard the sirens too. Suddenly, the footsteps outside changed direction. The men scattered, running off into the darkness as fast as they had come. The banging stopped. The house fell silent once again. The police arrived moments later, lights flashing and voices calling out. The homeowner rushed to the door, still shaking, and let them in. The officers searched the area, but the intruders were already gone. The homeowner tried to explain what had happened, but their words came out in a rush, mixed with tears and relief. That night, sleep was impossible. Every time the homeowner closed their eyes, they saw the faces at the window, heard the footsteps outside, felt the terror all over again. Even after the police left and the house was declared safe, the fear lingered. The homeowner sat up in bed, lights on, listening for any sound that might signal danger's return. In the days that followed, the experience changed everything. The homeowner installed new locks and sturdy deadbolts on every door. Security cameras went up around the house, and motion sensor lights were added to the yard. They talked to neighbors, sharing what had happened and encouraging everyone to look out for each other. The community came together, checking in on one another and sharing tips for staying safe. Local police increased patrols in the area, offering reassurance and advice. The homeowner found comfort in these small acts, but the memory of that night never fully faded. Every creak in the house, every unexpected noise. If you like listening to true horror stories like this, then please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends to watch more videos brought to you by me.